Welcome back to the bubble, ladies and gentlemen, and what's most likely going to be the third and last part of Switzerland fighting against Austria. I'm trying to keep every series of these games to like 2 or 3 episodes each, so I don't drag it out for too long, because I guess that you understand that I could finish this quite easily, but of course I don't want it to be over too quick. I want it to be an interesting game as well, of course. We have so many idle peasants right now because we don't have any mines that we need to fill out. So then, of course, all of our peasants stand idle. They don't have that much to do. But I think, yeah, I'll abort the continued production of more peasants right there. I do, however, have quite a lot of empty stone excavation points, like one there and one there. And also I have this point in the very middle that I want to fill out with more peasants, because of course this should be the most contested point on the entire map. But so far it's going, it's quite peaceful in this section, because the Austrian army is all the way down here. They have a lot of artillery though, a couple of round shears, some 18th century cuirassiers, which are really strong cavalry, although a bit slow compared to the hussars. They also have a lot of peasants and the pandours. Of course, 18th century Austrian infantry. However, they can't fight in hand-to-hand combat or close combat, so fast cavalry will pretty much knock them out quite quickly. But here they come. Let's see what 120 18th century cuirassiers information can do against these guys. I'll also send in a couple of mounted Jaegers, just for fun. And I think, yes, now we're able to do 400 formations. I'm sorry if the game starts to lag a bit right now, but let me tell you, it's magnificent. Oh, the Jaegers went in first. That's really brave of them. But look how much the cannon attacks hurt the cavalry. Especially these really close bombardments cause a lot of damage. Wow, the round shears really held their own against the cuirassiers, along with the Austrian cuirassiers, of course. But now we have quite the formation of musketeers, so we're gonna use them. 17th century pikemen, I think you can go and do something else. Really need to upgrade my cavalry as well. But so far I must say that it's going quite well. Quite well. It all depends on how hard my ass gets kicked by this little squad. But it looks like, yeah, their cavalry is actually coming up in front. So I'm gonna have the choose the move and attack option for my musketeers, and then they're gonna fire on everything that comes in their range. Also have to keep an eye on the coal and iron, because if any of them runs out, then the musketeers won't fire anymore, and then they will only use close quarters, the bayonets. Wow, they are losing quite a lot of troops. It's all the Panthers, most likely. But when the Musketeers are done with, we'll send in the Grenadiers. I mean, just imagine the time it took to recruit these 400 Musketeers, and they die in an instant. But fortunately for me, we still have a lot of cavalry ready to go. Ready to rock, ready to roll. I'm gonna send all of the Musketeers down and also all of the Grenadiers. Let's just have them to cause problems for the Austrians. And also, I don't like playing with the artillery that much, especially when I'm on the move, because then you have to stand and wait for the artillery all the time, and I don't like that. I want to be, I want high maneuverability. I did not see those Cossacks coming. That was weird, but hey. At least no one saw it, right? Oh wow, they have so many troops. I think this part might actually be the most entertaining one to watch, because now there's gonna be a lot of really great battles. And it's gonna be really fun to have the Austrian 18th century infantry and cavalry join in the battles as well. And I will start to mass upgrade on the academy front. Just use a lot of my resources for upgrading to make sure that my army is as the most efficient as it can be. But just look at that. It took so long for me to recruit my 800 Musketeers and Grenadiers, and already they're all dead, and I have a great, even more great armies on the way from Austria. So this is gonna be a fun one. It might not be as easy as I once predicted. How exciting. I'll just keep upgrade as much as I can, and now I'll start upgrading from the academy. I think the barracks are as upgraded as they as I want them to be. So now I'll start upgrading my troops in the academy as well. And look at that, how fast the gold is depleted. Okay, let's see what kind of damage this cavalry can do. Their catapults, their cannons are starting to get a bit too close for comfort. So I will need to start pushing them back and attacking them more frequently, because I do not like it when the mortars and the cannons get in range from when my city rather gets in range from their cannons. This combination for Austria is really effective. Like, the round shears soak up so much damage. There's such an effective meat wall against even my cavalry, while the Panthers deal most of the damage. Really quite impressive. So now I'll need to send a bunch of Croats their way to hopefully silence the Panduros. The Pandurs, not the Panduros. So there we have, I'm gonna press Ctrl Z, and then I'll choose all of the Austrian academies. And by doing that, I can make 4 upgrades at once. Oh, look at that. That's what I was talking about. That the Croats close in so quickly on the Pandors that they can't get that many volleys off, and then they're not that effective anymore. So just because the round shears died, like this cheap 17th century unit died, they lost all of their 18th century ranged units super quickly. But still, I think it's a lot of fun now to have when it's a bit more challenging. I think it's a lot more fun. Oh my god, I have my Croats spread out all over the place. Gonna make a couple of drummers and officers so that I can form battalions, or form formations rather, with my 18th century troops. Now making a 90 troop formation of cuirassiers, a 90 troop formation of dragoons, and then I'll start attacking their economy with this group. Also, the Croats will be used for this, and they are all over the place right now. Look at that. My little fortress in the center to mine for stone is actually starting to take shape. And then I'll also start producing a bunch of 17th century musketeers. They will be the guys responsible for defending this position. Oh wow. Looks like my Croats didn't make it very long, but here we have even more of them coming down. So now you're really gonna notice what I talked about earlier, that later on during the game, soldiers, infantry basically, are nothing else than cannon fodder, because you make so many troops so quickly, but still they die so fast to all of this ranged infantry as well as the cavalry and things like that. Let's see, I'm gonna make another section of musketeers, and now since I've been pushed into more of a defensive position, I'm actually gonna start making artillery to make sure that their infantry is dealt with, so to speak. But I mean, this little squad of 120 troops in the very beginning, that might seem like such an impressive squad, but I mean, you are very quickly made aware of how few 120 troops really are. Fortunately though, they have bayonets, which means they can at least cause some damage. The cuirassiers, the dragoons can't. That's why they are losing the fight over here until the musketeers come and help them out. But I think I'm gonna make it quite well on that side. But what they don't know is that there is a giant army of Austrian turncoats massing up in the northeast. And now their cannons are starting to deal damage as well. Need to just keep on building barracks. They cost 128,000 gold right now. I mean, that's what costing. It's not the stone, and it's not the wood, or it's not the anything. It's the gold that makes them super expensive. And now this is actually starting to look a bit bleak for me right now. But I'll send a bunch of troops into their city to see what kind of damage we can deal to them. And then I'll also start producing some round shears to get more infantry going. We have a lot of 17th century muskets. Not a lot, wow, we didn't have that many at all. We will start to recruit some more of them right there. And I'm really happy that these guys haven't started to attack my city yet. Hopefully that will give enough room for a lot of my Austrian cavalry to make way. But they are so slow. And their mortars are dealing quite a lot of damage. Of course, that's not very fun. I'm gonna make the multi-barrel cannon. That one deals quite a punch. And also, I think I'm losing quite a lot since just because my infantry isn't upgraded from the academy. But don't fret. Even if I lose the entirety of this city, then I have my Austrian section over here. Let's see, I think I'll make a couple of more troops and then I'll walk these formations of 196, both of Pandurs as well as Musketeers. I'll send back home to protect the main base. And I'll also upgrade my 18th century and 17th century cavalry more, because these guys are weak right now, as I see it. Look at that. Fortunately for me, they turned back, most likely because they saw that there were some issues over here. But there are still big armies of Austria. Look at their points. They are way ahead of me when it comes to points. That means that I need to step up my economic rates a lot more. Because I currently have a lot of 18th century barracks creating troops. But not enough, it seems. Not enough. Let's see, how far am I away from 128? I just sell a bunch of stone in order to create my next 18th century barracks. And then I'll use some of the money to create another stable as well. They still have quite the army down here. But these guys will hopefully pack a punch as well. But this army is coming against them, and I must be honest. I don't think this squad is gonna beat that one, because their cavalry is gonna deal a lot of damage to my infantry, especially to my Pandurs if they're able to reach them. That's why I move up the Musketeers to the very front. Let's see if they can deal some damage to the round shears. They did not have the best of aims. Okay, now we are starting to get somewhere. Still need to upgrade my cavalry though, because so far they're not very good. Build another 17th century barrack right here. There are okay, here we go. creating a squad of 120 musketeers, and these are going to be responsible as well for dealing some damage to their base. I mean, this is why it's so good to this is why it's so good to keep attacking their economy, because it's gonna give you a bit of a breather against their armies, because they will pull back as long as they think that there is a threat to their base. So that's why it's always good to attack and not just waiting for them to attack you. There we go. I think we have, yeah, this is our Austrian cavalry that decided to stop by, and I'm super grateful for that. I will use the Croats. Oh wow, here we go. I'm sorry about the potential lag, but it actually looked okay. We have 340, 302. Now let's see what the artillery is going to do to us. 340, 302, 340, 302. Oh god. So from 340 and 302 to this, it's actually not that bad. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. Destroying the cannons right now because I don't want to drag them along. These guys are just waiting basically. But I do not like them standing there, so I will send this squad to deal with them. I have currently 151 Austrian dragoons. I will click attack and move and attack, and send them to the very middle, and then I will use them to attack my enemy's base. I have 151 Austrian cuirassiers. I will do the same thing with them, and then I will attack their economy from the very center when I'm done with them. Look at that, the Croats are so fast. I will use them to attack their economy. Fortunately for me, there are a lot of mines that they aren't using. That's very fortunate for me. However, they do have a very open left side, western side, to their economy, and since that's not protected, I will make sure to deal some damage. Their cuirassiers are even riding away from it. So there we go. Let's see how much damage 42 Croats can do. Probably quite a lot until they ride into these guys, because I guess that they will not be doing very well against a bunch of cuirassiers. Yeah, like I said, until they ran into the cuirassiers. But now we took their attention from the very northern side of the base. They do have some cuirassiers, a bunch of Pandurs there, of course. That's gonna make life miserable for me. It looks like this game is gonna be a 4-episode game, everyone. Because we are almost 25 minutes into the recording of this game, or this section. And I don't think we're that close to beating them. Let's see. Choosing these guys, selecting them, move and attack on the other side of the base. Then of course they will be attacking everything on the way to the other side of the base. But I don't think they're gonna get past this section. They have even more of the gosh darn siege Cossacks. So I just pressed Ctrl A. That will select all of the units I have, and then I just shows the mounted Jaegers because they are a really fast unit, and then I'll have them hunting down the siege Cossacks. Look at that! They didn't get that far. My precious troops. Very soon I'm gonna go with the complete overload shock pikeman 18th century attack, so you can see that one as well. They have very fast production speed. They are produced like an assault rifle basically. They are really fast at their attacks. So I have a bunch of Swiss peasants. What am I to do with those guys? You can go and work on the work on getting some stone collected, and then we're gonna produce 17th century musketeers because they have a really good range and really good damage as well. Your unit attacks an enemy. Let's see, was it the Jaegers? Yes it was, and goodbye Cossacks. And I will send the Jaegers around. This army is not gonna be very fun to run into, but I will use my Austrian cavalry for that. Fortunately for me, I mean, you can imagine how difficult this would be right now if I didn't have two civilizations producing soldiers and giving population space. But the computer is still like double up on me when it comes to points. Now I'm selecting the entire squadron of 151 cuirassiers, 151 18th century dragoons pressed move and attack, and on the other side of the base. So the ones who are going to run into this army will fight it, the ones who go around it will attack the base. And hopefully they'll deal quite some damage. I'll send these cuirassiers down as well. Let's go from all kind of different sides. Now it's time we start pushing pushing for real on our enemy, since we just realized that they can pack quite a punch themselves. And we have 3 Austrian academies that can produce for us. So I want as much firepower and damage as I can. And this is gonna do quite a lot. 18th century musketeer and grenadier melee attack efficiency plus 25%. So they're gonna be a lot more efficient when it comes to damaging horses and things like that. So mounted Jaegers, 39 of them. Just do the best you can. And the first thing we're gonna face are a bunch of cuirassiers. So I abort the move and attack because they're slow, the mounted Jaegers are fast. So I will try to ride around them and maybe attack this position and some other things down along the way. Just what I talked about. The guys who rode into them will attack them. The other ones are just riding around. So they might think that they're doing something really good here, but these guys, yeah, they're gonna ride into another great army. So there's nothing that much to do, I guess. But the mounted Jaegers have now created a bit of an opening between themselves and the cuirassiers. So I will send them in through the southwestern side of the town, kill a couple cuirassiers on the way, and then we're gonna deal some damage to their economy. And there we have another section of cavalry coming in to occupy them on that front, which leaves the mounted Jaegers wide open to ride in and kill some of their peasants and destroy some of their artillery depots and other buildings. Destroying their dwellings are important as well, of course, because they give them population space. But look at that, 39 Jaegers, 39 shots of Jaeger, and we managed to get getting quite a bit in their city, I must say. And I mean, 39 of them. That's not that many, because they're so fast. And my opponent was occupied on this side of the town. And then they managed to deal quite a bit of damage. And here comes even a couple of more cuirassiers who just decided to deal some damage to their stone production. That's good. I don't need you, unfortunately, but I just noticed that I can build another 18th century Austrian barrack, and I will do that. Also, some more stables. Always important to build a bunch of stables and upgrade as much as I can, because so far they're quite weak. And I do not want weak cavalry, because then I will be overrun quite efficiently by their soldiers. We have 210 Austrian round shears ready for duty as well. And this is quite a good place to end this episode, I think. We're already 30 minutes in. Time really flies. This entire game has been 1 hour and 44 minutes so far. But I really hope you enjoyed this episode, a bit more action, and the computer really starts to show why it's very hard, finally. But I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.